going on, Merc Crew? In today's video, we're going to be talking about episode 3 of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Another great episode to add to the series. I absolutely enjoyed it. All right, but look, before we get into this breakdown, I want to make sure that everybody likes, subscribes, and go ahead, tap that notification bell one time for your boy. Just want to flood your timeline with my great reviews, you heard? All right, now, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this episode review. Before we start talking about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I want to give a little bit of backstory on Baron Zemo. A lot of people may not know how intricate of a player he is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just in the Marvel Universe, period. So this guy actually orchestrates the creation of a group called the Thunderbolts. And if I'm not mistaken, I've seen that coming down the Marvel pipeline in future films, which is great because they're definitely setting up for that moment. But Zemo is somebody who starts this group. It is actually ran with a bunch of supervillains and superheroes to fight greater forms of evil, okay? Sometimes the good have to link with the bad to fight a common enemy, and that's what this group kind of does. It reminds me of Suicide Squad in a way when I kind of painted in that fashion. And speaking of Suicide Squad, I'm definitely going to be dropping another review on the brand new trailer that was released because that one was so much better. But we're going to talk a little bit more about Zemo. So Zemo was a victim of the Sokovian War, and that is the same place where Wanda is from WandaVision and obviously Avengers, Age of Ultron and so forth, okay? At the end of the day, this guy despises super soldiers. Anything that has to do with altering human beings to kind of fight wars and have super soldier armies, he's totally against that. Whether it's the Avengers who get painted like superheroes, even though, you know, they cause mass deaths, and because they kind of finagle with things that they shouldn't at times, they create heathens and supervillains like Ultron that cause a havoc on the whole world. So obviously we can understand where he comes from as a villain or as an anti-hero. Everyone has their own motive in the Marvel Universe, and I got to see a lot of that in this episode because when it brought up the Flag Smashers, we got to see that they're all kind of victims of the blip, all right? So pretty much there's this organization that kind of helps and facilitates people that have been affected by the blip. Now, when everybody came back, everybody kind of went back to their normal lives, taking and doing what they wanted, and these people were suffering. They were almost painted as refugees, and it's almost sad. It's a really sympathetic story that I can really show some love to because, you know, if everybody's taking whatever they want from me, what am I going to do to stop that? You know, my family is suffering, and I have to help them. So the Flag Smashers already have this kind of relationship with the audience. So in this episode, we really got to see our three stooges kind of try to sneak onto this island to find out further information upon this super serum, all right? In the last episode, we were left off with the Falcon and Winter Soldier going to Zemo, and obviously, like I said, the Winter Soldier breaks him out, so they have to get on this island. And in this island holds a person that Zemo knows who's going to give them more information and more leads because the Falcon and Winter Soldier are fresh out. During the midst of all this chaos that starts going down in this island, we actually got to see Agent Carter come out and pull through for the Falcon and Winter Soldier and really help them succeed. All right, they were able to find their scientists who we find out created the super serum based off Isaiah Bradley's DNA, which is a little weird because he's not that old. Maybe he's the son of the scientist, but pretty much they were able to replicate this super serum based off Isaiah Bradley's character, which leads me to believe that hopefully we're gonna see more of Isaiah Bradley. I would love to see a lot more backstory on what he went through in World War II. Now, just as we're getting to know this character, boom, Zemo shoots this guy, and they don't really give an explanation to why. But us knowing who Zemo is, like I explained to you in the beginning of this video, he's against of any type of super soldier serum, period. So that's why he shot him and was like, I'm done with it. And of course, nobody wants to deal with Zemo going around killing people. And they're like, you know what? When we're done with this, your ass is going back to jail. And there was a really funny part in the episode where the Winter Soldier tells Falcon, look, man, you trusted Captain America when he wanted you to go against everybody in the Civil War. And he's like, I need you to trust me too. And as we look upon Anthony Mackie's face, He agrees. Why? Because he's Captain America worthy, man. He is so loyal. He will do anything for the people who he stands by. And Bucky is someone that he wants to definitely be alongside. I know that everyone loved to see Agent Carter kicking ass between these connexes on this shipyard, but just as much as we like to see her is as quickly as she left. Unfortunately, she can't go on these missions and she has to stay behind until the Falcon can get her pardon like he promised. Just as we're wrapping up the third act of this episode, we find ourselves with the three amigos again, Zemo, Falcon, and Winter Soldier. And for some reason, Bucky's like, you know what, guys, go ahead, go in, follow this lead. I'm gonna fall back, I'm gonna go on a walk. And they're like, oh, you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm good, man. Just do your thing. So he goes for a walk and he's finding these little metal anal beads. They really weren't. They were just these little metal spheres that are kind of blinking. As he's following this trail of beads, we can tell that he's kind of on high alert. He knows somebody's watching, so he calls out, you know, you dropped something. He looks around, there's no one, and as he kind of pulls that last turnaround, he sees one of the guards of the Black Panther. So what I'm assuming is that she's there for Zemo, and yes, she did say it. Being that Zemo killed King T'Chaka, the Black Panther's father, it's almost safe to assume that they want his ass. And the only way that they're gonna really get him is the Falcon and Winter Soldier are gonna have to make some sort of deal with Wakandans like, hey, look, we need him to stop these flag smashers and these super soldiers. How about after we finish all this stuff, we'll give them back to you? I think that's how this thing is gonna go, man. But what did you think about this episode? It actually ends right there. It was one of the better cliffhangers that I've seen in one of these series episodes, because not only did we get to see someone new, but now we're reaching into Wakanda, and I love that aspect because obviously there's gonna be a Black Panther 2 movie, and there's so much hype and speculation going with how they're gonna continue without Chadwick Boseman. So I'm just glad to see that they're gonna be moving forward, and I know they're gonna honor the great Chadwick, and I know that they're not gonna let us down. I actually have a theory that the US agent, aka John Walker, has been taking some form of this serum, because I was looking at some of the clips from the other episodes, and he was literally throwing things off of this moving car, and he was able to throw Captain America's shield in a way that we can tell the Falcon can't do. So I'm thinking that he's on some juice, and he's gonna really come out of that closet busting and kicking and screaming, and someone's gonna have to put him down. But hey, man, what did you think of this episode? Did you hate it? Did you love it? In comparison to the last episode, I found it to be a little bit slower. Last week's episode had a lot of laughs attached to it, but I really could appreciate this video, man. But until next time, it's been a pleasure, folks, but I'm out.
When I take the wheel, it's going out of control. I ain't got a flex, but my money's swole. I'm flying real life, nigga, not just pose. Hands down, I'm the man now. You better do your research before I air it out. I'm smoking on reefer and it's very loud.